Well, it's certainly going to be a significant test for Oxford fullback Jack Curry tonight. On an evening where his team aren't likely to have too much of the ball, Adrian Clark, sometimes that possession hasn't helped Ipswich. If you look at the last 2 home games, they've dominated against both Watford and Wrexham. They haven't beaten either of them.
I agree with you, I do. And they've found it harder, for sure, in matches where they've really had an overwhelming amount of the ball. Now, Oxford's average is 43%. That could be lower tonight, in my opinion. And I don't think Gary Rowett would mind that. Ipswich have to find a way to break down obdurate defences at Portman Road. That much is clear. Their results show it. On the road, there tends to be a little bit more onus, doesn't there, on the home team to go for it, and that's where Ipswich are capable of picking you off. So they're going to, it's an interesting dynamic, I think, tactically. But Oxford can't spend all night defending here. They have to go for it. They have to give the fans something to get excited about. So I don't think they'll be parked on the edge of their box for the entire 90.
What do you see as the key battles this evening?
Yeah, lots of key battles, I guess, around the pitch. I think can Long handle Philogene down the left. Philogene is a truly outstanding championship player. And then you're looking at De Kiersmacher and Volks. Can they chaperone Nunez and stop him impacting the game and screen the service into Hurst, who's the platform for so much of Ipswich Town's good work? So yeah, there's lots of interesting battlegrounds. As I said earlier, I think you'd have to make Ipswich overwhelming favourites, but this is the Championship. You never know.
We've already seen a light show that is a little different to anything I've seen for a while. Certainly not since I put my fingers in the plug whilst installing a Christmas tree when I was about 6.
It was a unique light show, that's for sure. But look, they've gone to a big effort here tonight. There's a sense of occasion. Can the home side, deliver and produce a performance for all the supporters that have turned out? It's a good crowd here tonight.
Well, one team desperate to lead the Championship, another desperate not to. Ipswich have never won a match in the league in Oxford. But if they can finally break that duck tonight, they'll end the evening in the top 2, and they'll add just a couple more decibels to the alarm bells here. We're underway. Ipswich blue shirts, white shorts. They're kicking from left to right in this first half, and defending the open end of the ground. They've already lost possession. Kraslov's got it on the left-hand side of midfield for Oxford. Sliding challenge coming in, getting the better of Marcelino Nunez, working it down towards Jack Curry, who we heard from moments ago. Played back by him, hooked inside the penalty area by Will Vokes. It'll bounce a little bit awkwardly around the edge of the penalty area, but Ipswich should be able to get it away effectively enough with Sandra Agelli. He's just lost out. It's been flicked past him. Good start here from Oxford. On the front foot from the off with Curry again. A little backheel flick from him down towards Will Vokes, who had little room with which to work on the left-hand touchline, and the touch just beat him over the line, out of play for a throw that the Ipswich right-back Darnell Furlong will take right in front of us. We're about 10 yards outside the half that the penalty area that Oxford are attacking in this first half, and it's a long Furlong throw that bounces in the D, and Kipre will be able to bring it under control before working it down towards Jaden Philogene over on that left-hand side. Through the opening 90 seconds here on Talksport 2, and Oxford with a bright start, but still chanceless at 0-0.
Yeah, look, it's been a bit scrappy, hasn't it? But certainly Oxford are on the front foot, trying to be positive. They did put one ball into the box, aiming for Mark Harris, still waiting, of course, for his first Championship goal of the season, the striker for Oxford tonight. And he's a handful. And Ipswich didn't look wholly convincing in the way they dealt with that ball that was put into the danger zone. So that might give Oxford a little bit of encouragement here.
Matuswa winning it back for Ipswich, who start the night 5th. They will end it there only if they're beaten here in Oxford this evening. They can go up to 2nd. They'll go clear of Stoke if they win on goal difference. They're 13 points off the top, ahead of their game in hand. Coventry facing Charlton on Talksport 2 tomorrow. Ipswich then play their rearranged game at Blackburn on Tuesday. And then Coventry and Ipswich meet a week tomorrow. Ipswich bringing the ball forward down their right-hand side with Eggerly, who they signed for big money in the summer. But the player that certainly I expect is going to ultimately end up justifying that £17.5 million transfer fee. Already a full international, the Norwegian. Well, he's making his way inside the penalty area here, standing by the spot as Town prepared to launch a long throw inside the box with Furlong. He's got a good long flat delivery which has beaten everybody. Didn't get a touch, went wide of the far post. Had he gone in without a touch, it would just have been a goal kick, but it's going to be a goal kick anyway that Jamie Cumming will take away to our right-hand side. But that is a good weapon, that Furlong throw.
It always is, yeah. I remember seeing him a lot at West Bromwich Albion, and he causes mayhem with those long throws. Of course, we know that they're very much in vogue at the moment, and that was a very good one. It just evaded everybody. Eggerly it was, actually, at the far post. The teenager just bounces over his head and wide of the far post. But yeah, that was a nervy moment, I think, for Oxford.
Mills trying to make something happen on the Oxford right. Ipswich will play out from the back just a little bit nervously. Walton's ball out towards Matusua, who got a shout that there was somebody coming from behind him to put the pressure on, and Ipswich can try and play through the Oxford press. All of a sudden there's space in the midfield for Jack Taylor, and a nice ball from him, swept out towards the left-hand side, beautifully brought under control from Philogene, whose right-footed effort is blocked by Long and goes out of play for a throw level with the edge of the Oxford penalty area that Ipswich will look to take quickly.
That was class, wasn't it? You saw little triangle on this near right-hand touchline, and then Jack Taylor pings it out to Philogene. Great first touch from him, and they're on the attack in the blink of an eye. That's how fluid and how slick Ipswich Town can be.
Eggerly for Nunez, and then brought down on the right-hand side by Furlong, but Oxford will won it back with Krastev. And as it's chipped forward by Curry, it will bounce on the left-hand touchline. Mark Harris just forced O'Shea to come across and play that. And in doing so, he's conceded a throw, which will be taken on the Oxford left. He talked about the fact that Mark Harris is still waiting for his first goal of the season. It's a run now of 32 games for club and country for the Oxford United number 9. Did get 19 goals in the promotion-winning season a couple of years ago, but they dried up in the Championship last year and still waiting to break his duck this.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be awful for him. We know that all strikers live and breathe goals, so it must be incredibly frustrating. I wonder what the thought process is from Gary Rowett. Obviously, Will Lancashire is on the bench, the top scorer, 5 goals this season. I suspect Mark Harris is a good defensive striker who will really work hard, and he'll harry central defenders, and he'll hold the ball up as well. So maybe that's where Rowett's coming from with this kind of surprise selection.
At the Kersmacher, just losing out in the heart of the midfield. Ipswich in a position to bring it forward again. It's 0-0 with 5.5 minutes gone here on Talksport 2. Ball laid back for Cedric Kipre. Now to O'Shea. O'Shea out towards Eggerly again, coming in off the right flank for Ipswich, level with the edge of the penalty area. Scoops it forward for Nunez, but it's cleared by Brown. Brought under control on the Ipswich right-hand side again by Furlong. Back from him for O'Shea. Kipre coming through the centre circle. And they would have travelled 10-15 yards into Oxford territory before laying it back out towards Jaden Philogene. Hooks his right foot round the ball and sweeps it in. Halleck can head it away. Brought down inside the centre circle again by O'Shea. Now out towards Furlong. He's got plenty of time surveying his options. Had Eggerly ahead of him. He had Nunez showing for a ball between the lines, but he's played a more conservative pass to his left-hand side for Matusua. And Ipswich can get it forward again. Matusua once more showing forward as Philogene comes in off that left flank. And then we'll just pirouette away from Halleck and try and flick the ball past Luke Harris. And between the centre-half and the full-back, it didn't quite find its intended target. Oxford win it back in their dark yellow shirts with the dark blue trim. And Curry will lay it back for Brown inside his own penalty area, and Oxford will be able to play their way out via the goalkeeper, Jamie Cumming. And now towards the right-hand side for the very highly regarded Stan Mills, former Everton man, working it forward. Finding Harris. And his namesake can take it on through the midfield. Luke Harris on loan from Fulham. Back towards Mark Harris, who again shows great tenacity to win it back. Volks then out towards the right-hand side. Low-driven ball in. Kipre heads it away. He's almost on his knees as he does so. De Keersmaker comes back in and wins the seconds around the edge of the penalty area. Little bit of Oxford frustration as they then take a touch back rather than working it forward. But they have it again in a decent position with Curry. And Halleck will bring it forward over halfway. Former Barnsley man just dropping it into the feet of Luke Harris. Back from him for Will Volks. And too much on his ball forward It'll drift out of play for a goal kick that'll be taken by Ipswich's Christian Walton, and it's still 0-0, 8 minutes gone here on Talksport 2.
Yeah, and I think Oxford will be relatively happy with how it's gone so far. They've kept Ipswich at arm's length. They had a good spell of possession there themselves, didn't they? They're by no means a side that can't look after the ball. They showed it there, nice and patient, but they will go from back to front a little bit quicker than the visitors, that's for sure. It was a good ball in, wasn't it, from Stanley Mills? And again, I didn't feel that the Ipswich dealt with it altogether convincingly. So if Oxford can get high enough up the pitch to put the balls into the box, I think they could cause them problems.
Yeah, Oxford switching their wingers around tonight. It was Taravest, who's ordinarily a right back, who started on the right wing the other night at Norwich. Mills coming in to replace him, and Krastev's in for Tyler Goodrum, who's dropped to the bench on the left. Ipswich swapping their wingers around as well. Egley in for McAteer on the right, Philogene in for Jack Clark on the left. And it's the Kieran McKenna way to make wholesale changes. Only 4 tonight. That's he's made.
That's conservative for him, isn't
22 over the previous 4 games.
Wow,
but just the 4 tonight.
Yeah, look, he's happy to rotate. It's a big squad, and he wants to use that squad, doesn't he? And look, it is working. You know, they've been on a good run over the last 12 games. Only Coventry City have picked up more points than Ipswich Town. So it's a policy that's bearing fruit, and it will protect the players, of course, over this long slog of a winter in the Championship. I can see the logic in it, although there will be fans, I'm sure, that want to see a bit more consistency and see those relationships build and flourish over the coming months. So, well, it's just his way. And look, the good thing is for the subs, they know they'll come on pretty early, because he doesn't mess around with his changes either, does he?
No, he's often a manager that will maybe have 3, you sense premeditated changes in mind. Just past the hour mark. We'll see how that goes tonight. Ipswich on the front foot again with Philogene, and Mills thought that he'd won it back. He won the tackle and just ran out of room, couldn't keep it in. And they do get left back Leif Davis forward, Ipswich Town. Mills has got to keep a weather eye on him defensively.
Very high, isn't he? He's hugging the touchline. Philogene inside of him.
Egley coming in off that right flank. Krastev's won it back. He was the player that scored the last gasp equaliser at Norwich the other night in a game that Oxford could easily have lost heavily. They did score in the 5th minute of stoppage time to stop Norwich getting their first home win of the season, but they couldn't stop them getting their first home points of the season under Philippe Clement. It's a good ball played forward towards Hurst. First sighted goal for him. The angle was tight. Left-footed effort that was smacked straight at Hellick from close range. And Ipswich will win it back in the midfield as Furlong finds his keeper.
That's a good block, wasn't it, from Hellick? He recovered very quickly. It was a right-footed pass, actually, from Leif Davis. We know all about his left foot. He cuts in on his right, and he just chips one over Hellick, which is hard to do because he's a big defender. And he gets goal side, Hurst, but the defender recovers ever so smartly.
Now they've chipped one over the top again, headed down towards Egley on the edge of the penalty area. Left-footed layoff from him. Leif Davis quickly on the scene, onto his right foot, back for Egley inside the box, and steering it just wide of the near post.
It's a chance. It really is for Egley. Leif Davis does it ever so well. Joins in on the far stick. He's calm. He picks out the right pass to Egley. He's only, 9 yards out from goal on his left foot. I think he'd be disappointed he didn't hit the target there. It just goes wide of the post. Hits the pole that's holding the netting together in the end. But that was good football, good patient football from Ipswich, but a big chance has gone a beg in there.
Yeah, he's still waiting for his first goal in English football. After that big money move from Nordsjælland, he had a decent record in his 1 season of first-team football in Denmark, where he was scoring goals at a rate of about 1 every 4 games or so from the wing. Ipswich can bring it forward again here, just beginning to exert some authority now. 12 minutes in at 0-0. They've got it with Matusua. Saw the challenge from Harris coming and quickly laid it off to his right-hand side for Furlong. O'Shea now for Cedric Kipre. Kipre over the halfway line, out to Jaden Philogene, who scored that wonderful hat-trick against Sheffield United live on Talksport 2 back in the autumn. And a clever little reverse ball from him here. Davis with a cross, deflected away. And it's taken a touch off long, gone just past the roof of the net now for the first corner of the night to Ipswich, 0-0.
That's classy play from Ipswich Town. Philogene into Hurst, who pulls off of the centre-back really smartly. He looks after it, plays it back to Philogene. He plays in Leif Davis down the left, and his ball in is flashed across the face of goal and put behind for a corner. But that little triangle there with Philogene and Hurst and Davis looks like it's going to give Oxford a few headaches here tonight.
So Philogene going across to take the corner on the Ipswich left-hand side. They've got Matusua waiting unmarked on the edge of the D. It's a crowd scene inside the 6-yard box. Good header comes away towards the edge of the area. Matusua trying his luck, and he's just flicked the ball straight up in the air. But it was such a bad touch that Ipswich could retain possession. Another ball swept inside the box is headed back towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Kipre was trying to get in there but couldn't. Oxford will clear it out towards Furlong, and Furlong didn't fancy the options that he had ahead of him. And thought about playing it out towards Nunez, then thought better of it and worked it back for his goalkeeper instead. Walton's long ball out towards the Ipswich left. And sees Long win a throw, which Oxford will take near the edge of their own box. They've drawn the last couple, haven't won any of the last 5. They fell into the drop zone on Wednesday. They got that draw at Norwich on Tuesday, but Sheffield United's win over 10-man Portsmouth at Bramall Lane 24 hours later put Oxford back into the bottom 3, where they haven't been for a month or so. They're able to bring the ball out from the back now with O'Shea. I think a lot of people looking at the league table might have sensed that, OK, Oxford third bottom, that might have been where we anticipated them being. They finished 17th last year. Actually, if you have a look at the budgets, they've got a higher budget than Coventry in terms of wages.
Have they?
Absolutely.
That's unbelievable.
Their
is
budget,
news to me.
about 15th, 16th, something like that in the division. Coventry's, depending which table you believe, anything between 18th and 20th.
That is incredible, isn't it? It shows you how well Coventry are doing. I suppose it's a slightly smaller squad maybe at Coventry City. They've got a lot of players here. But for me, the calibre of player at Coventry is much higher. Now, I would have imagined that they had one of the smaller budgets. So that's maybe troubling for Gary Rowett.
Nice team are on the back foot here, as Jack Taylor plays it out towards the left-hand side for Philogene. Really well defended again by Mills, who correctly read the pass forward from Philogene for Davis. Mills' clearance falls to halfway, but Ipswich quickly have it back. O'Shea, and then just a little clip of the ankles of Taylor gives Ipswich a free kick about 10 yards inside Oxford territory.
It's quiet, isn't it, Jim? It's not a very sort of raucous atmosphere.
Still trying to get over that light show.
I think so. There's a few people a little bit, they're freaked out by it. It was very, very bright and sort of flashy, wasn't it? but the team haven't really got going after that brightish start.
Now a long ball played for Mark Harris going up for it, and he collided with Dara O'Shea. Harris went down. The referee says play on, and Ipswich still in possession. No complaint significantly there from Harris.
I think it's just a coming together. If he gives a foul there, he probably has to send O'Shea off.
Here's Philogene towards the edge of the penalty area, but he can't get himself into a shooting position. I mean, it was still only 20 yards or so inside the Oxford half as a shot comes in from distance and deflects away over the bar for a corner. But as you say, he was the last man.
Yeah.
The goalkeeper coming out, but he was a denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity had the referee decided that was a foul by O'Shea.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was just one long, hopeful punt upfield, and they've done a few of those in the last few minutes, and it hasn't gone anywhere near a yellow shirt. This one was, and it was a foot race, and they sort of bumped into one another, and they asked the question, didn't they? But the referee wasn't biting on that one. As I say, it's an easy call maybe to avoid making there, because he would have had to have dismissed O'Shea. And if he wasn't sure it was a foul, then he's right not to do that.
It's Matt Donoghue who's taking charge tonight, incidentally. He was the ref for Coventry's top-of-the-table win at Middlesbrough on Tuesday, which was a thriller.
Yeah, I was there for that one. That was some game. Brilliant game.
It's another performance that underlined just how good Coventry are this season. This is Ipswich's second corner of the night. The first on the right flank, swept in, left-footed, deep towards the far post, and good communication at the back. Cumming gave his defender a shout to leave it, and he's drifted past everybody and goes out of play for a goal kick. Oxford through almost the opening 20 minutes unscathed, and they've been Very few significant chances created by informed Ipswich at the moment. 0-0.
No, not really. They look dangerous down the left for sure, with Davis and Philogene, and Hurst is looking to. He's had some good pieces of movement, which got away from the defenders, but no clear-cut opportunities as such. I think, it's a relatively even game. Ipswich having most of the ball though, as you would have anticipated.
Hellick heading the ball out to the Oxford right. It's played back for goalkeeper Cumming, who can clear towards halfway. Davis stops Mills getting a jump on the ball, and then there's just a little bit of a shirt pull. Mills hard done by there. Davis appeared to try and haul him over. He had more than a fistful of the young winger's shirt. The play goes on.
70% of the ball has been Ipswich's so far. They've made 130 passes, Oxford less than 50, so that's the pattern of the game.
I don't think that's necessarily out of keeping with what we anticipated either.
Not at all. No.
Ipswich able to come forward here with Philogene. Left-hand side of the penalty area, skips round his man, pulls the ball back towards the edge of the box. De Kersmacher knocks it away. Matusua feigning to shoot, then flicks it out towards Eggerly, who gets round Krastev and fires a left-footed ball inside the penalty area. I think just hoping that either Nunez or Hurst could get on the end of that, but he's drifted through aimlessly towards Jamie Cumming.
It was nice feet, wasn't it, from Eggerly? But I think the decision was a poor one in the end. It was a bit of a lazy cross. It was always going to spin, I think, away from his teammates and towards the goalkeeper. Eggerly hasn't really got going yet. For Philogene, he's skipped around long a couple of times, but his final ball has actually been really, really poor. I know that you were at the game where he scored the hat-trick against Sheffield United. I mean, he looked an absolute world beater that night. You would say, well, this guy's got to be a Premier League star. But he is a little bit inconsistent, isn't he, Philogene? I think we've seen a bit of that already in this game.
Yeah, he's only scored one goal in his last 8 coming into this one, which was a strike against Watford, I think it was. But that hat-trick that night, it wasn't just the fact that he scored a hat-trick from the wing. Every goal. The first goal was great, and that was the worst of the 3 that he scored.
No, he was unreal that night. It was, it's an evening he'll never forget. And he is a talented boy, and I think he's going to have a big impact over the course of this season, but he will also create moments of frustration where he goes past 2 or 3 players and then makes the wrong decision.
It's a throw to Ipswich. Furlong just being told to retrace his steps back down the touchline before taking it. It's found Furlong. Furlong back for O'Shea. And down towards Furlong again. Flicked in field by Marcelino Nunez. Matusua, a clever ball that bypasses Davis and is worked down towards the left-hand side for Philogene. Davis has made the run, gets to the byline, stands it up. Eggerly with a header, well saved. Coming, diving down to his left, got a hand to flick it round the post. Might not actually have taken a touch on the goalkeeper, might have hit the outside of the post. Goalkeeper, I think, was there and had it covered. I don't think the initial header was on target anyway, but it was another clever Ipswich move. And those two combining so well down the left, Davis and Philogene, and causing mayhem again. Yeah,
it's that switch of play out to Philogene. They've got to try and find a way, Oxford, to stop that happening. Matusua, where it is, that fizzes it out to him. And Leif Davis comes on his inside. He's done that 2 or 3 times. He did a big underlap. And it's a really nice pass, actually, from Philogene to play in Davis. His cross is good. Eggerly's header's fine, but it does hit the post.
Mills trying to bring the ball forward. Keeper making life very difficult for him. He's won a throw. And that will give Oxford the opportunity to load the penalty area for the first time. Will Vokes going across to take it. Vokes, a very popular man. He does an extraordinary amount of work behind the scenes in the community. He has done everywhere he's played.
Yeah. Fair play.
550th career game for him tonight, which is a very creditable milestone. How good is this first long throw of the night going to be? Midway through the first half, it's 0-0. He's launched it in. It's not a bad one. Headed away by Keeper, turned back in by De Kersmacher. I think looks as though Luke Harris had come back from an offside position. No flag came up, and Mills wins a corner.
Yeah, good pressure. They're putting some decent balls into the box, aren't they, Oxford? De Kersmacher is going to take this corner. There's only one player in the Championship that's created more chances from corners and wide free kicks than him all season. And that's Matt Grimes at Coventry. So, this guy can put it on the money from dead balls. Let's see what he's got here.
Yeah, way more assists than anyone else in this Oxford team. In comes the corner. It took an Ipswich flick at the near post off Furlong. And then a better touch from the edge of the penalty area, got it away. Another long ball is swept forward. Walton came out, punched away from the right limit of his penalty area. Didn't get too much distance on it. Well, the referee has found in Ipswich's favour, much to the fury of Vokes.
Yeah, I didn't see a foul, I've got to be honest. He comes out right to the edge of his box. He's punched that ball at sort of 17.5 yards out from his own goal. He's very close to the line. And he took a chance there, Walton. And the referee was generous in giving him the free kick.
Oh, Matusa, a terrible touch. And a brilliant save. Nothing that can be done about the follow-up. And Mark Harris has his goal. Ipswich have gifted Oxford the lead. So out of character with their campaign at large. Mix up between Matusa and Walton. The initial shot well saved by the recovering goalkeeper, but he was powerless to stop the follow-up falling Mark Harris's way. And there is his first goal in 33 games for club and country. Oxford 1, Ipswich 0.
Well, you can't help but feel happy for Mark Harris. The duck has finally been broken, and it's gift-wrapped, isn't it, from Matusiwa? What is he doing? It's a really feeble back pass, intercepted by Harris. His first shot's good. It's a fantastic save with his legs from Walton, and it comes back to Harris, and he dispatches it emphatically on the rebound. No messing around, and he can breathe easy again. He's finally back among the goals, and out of nowhere, really, Ipswich are behind.
His first goal since he scored against Norwich back in March. And he's found East Anglian-like opposition to his liking again tonight. Oxford 1, Ipswich 0 on 24 minutes. A goal that is against the run of play. Ipswich with the lion's share of possession, but yet to have a shot on target. Oxford have had 2 and have scored from one of them.
Well, that were the only shots there in that move. The one on target that saved, the second one on target, a second later goes into the back of the net. So really that was their first attack of note. It's the first time Walton was called into action, and they get themselves in front. Oxford United, what a lift that will give everybody inside this stadium, apart from that big travelling support opposite us from Suffolk. Yeah, Ipswich have played all the football, but they've lacked a cutting edge, haven't they? And Oxford have stolen the lead.
And maybe in that regard, and we touched on the Wrexham game before this match started, being a problem for Ipswich. They've given the ball away again on the edge of the penalty area, and this time Keeper has been able to win it back and deny Luke Harris a goal. Ipswich can break. Marcelino Nunez with a heavy touch. Out came Brown and cleared everything out and got the ball forward, and Walton will be able to pick it up.
He was all over that, Brown, wasn't he? Just the sort of 50-50 he loves. Marcelino Nunez, his touch was a bit heavy, and it just gave the Oxford centre-half the chance to come out and meet him in that 50-50. He gets there first, and the crowd absolutely loved it. But Ipswich, you've got to be a bit more careful here with their passing, giving it away in some bad areas.
Nice ball over the top from Taylor, and Davis's touch let him down. He just cannoned off his chest and goes over the line out of play for a goal kick that'll be taken away to our right-hand side by Jamie Cumming. Oxford then leading Ipswich by a goal to nil. Remember, Ipswich, bizarrely, has no effect on today's game whatsoever, but it's an extraordinary historical idiosyncrasy. Ipswich have never won a league game in Oxford. They have won a couple of cup ties, both at the Manor Ground, and most recently in the League Cup back in 1997 when Tony Mowbray scored an extra time winner. But they've never won a league game in this city.
It's crazy. I can't really believe it. Because Ipswich traditionally a bit bigger club than Oxford. You'd have imagined they had some great teams down the years. Yeah, look, the bogey is real. Maybe. Just looking at Ipswich this season, when they do go one down, hasn't happened that often, just 6 times, but they haven't won any.
No.
3 draws, 3 defeats. So if they want to get 3 points here, they've got to do something they haven't done in the campaign so far, Kieran McKenna's side.
Come from behind and win. I mean, Oxford have lost a couple in which they've scored first. One against Watford, one against West Brom. Keeper's off his line here and is able to trot back Walton and make a comfortable save. Just got his hands up, but it was a long way off his line.
Luke Harris it was. So he tries his luck from just inside the Ipswich half. Keeper is way off his line. And I think if he hits it flatter with a little bit more power, that could actually have caught Walton out. In the end, it just lacked a little bit of pace and he sort of floated into his arms. But yeah, look, Ipswich have been sloppy in possession. They've given the ball away in some terrible areas, and Oxford are built for those moments, aren't they? They're built for the transitions.
Just a one home win for them so far this season in the league, which came against Derby. But they lead in form Ipswich by a goal to nil with almost half an hour played here on Talksport 2. Jim Bradford and Adrian Clark talking you through the action. And Mills has just been caught and has got back to his feet and then gone back down again. And is sitting down and is now lying on his back with his knees and legs up in the air. And referee Donoghue is calling the Oxford medical team on so that he can receive whatever treatment is necessary here.
Yeah, you hope he's okay. You know, he's one of only 3 players that have scored a league goal. Well, one of 4 players now, because Harris has just got one that has scored for Oxford so far this season. And you know, he's got his hands full, hasn't he, with Leif Davis, because even though he's the winger and Leif Davis is the fullback, really the roles have been a bit reversed, and he's having to sort of play almost as an auxiliary fullback here, Stan Mills, because Ipswich have all the ball and Davis has been so high. It's probably quite a challenging night for him. But look, they've got the lead, Oxford, and their mentality is going to be interesting now, Jim. What do? Do they push for a second? They sit on their lead, or just carry on the way that they were? I certainly think if they do press it, if they're brave enough to press Ipswich, they can force mistakes tonight. Yeah,
I've seen that on a couple of occasions, most notably, of course, the goal, which has given Oxford this 1-0 advantage. We've got 2 more games in the top of the EFL live on Talksport 2 tomorrow. Stoke will be second unless Ipswich win tonight. They take on Hull at 12:30, and then leaders Coventry look for an 11th win in 12 games as they face Charlton at 3. Both of those games live and exclusive to national radio on Talksport 2 tomorrow. Ipswich on the front foot again here with Davis. Clever flick, and it's gone just wide. Well, he made a darting near post run, and then with a little hitch kick, he flicked it with his right boot across the face of goalkeeper Cumming, who had to nervously look over his shoulder. But he saw it drift just wide of that far post.
Yeah, look, he's shown some good pieces of movement tonight, George Hurst. He's got away from Hillock on a couple of occasions. The one, I remember, over the top. He's come short, pulled off him a couple of times to knit moves together. And there he gets himself free in the box. The ball is good from Leif Davis. I just think that he flicks at it a little bit. It wasn't the most convincing of attempts from George Hurst. Well wide, I think, in the end.
Mark Harris offside. Has the ball gone out of play? Has actually just gone out of play over on that far touchline, the Ipswich left. And they've taken a throw. Davis back for Keeper. And now Walton can bring it forward from the back. Out towards Cedric Keeper again. Keeper, who's on loan from Reims in France, but has got extensive experience playing in English football with the likes of Leicester and Wigan and West Brom. And how to spell at Cardiff as well. Ball out for a throw on the Ipswich right now that Furlong is going to take. Just drying the ball on his blue shirt. Nunez spins away from him. They haven't really been able to get Marcelino Nunez into the game too much yet.
No, relatively quiet, hasn't he? 1 or 2 little short passes, but he's not been a dominant figure. One thing you know about Kieran McKenna and Ipswich, they won't panic. They'll stay calm. He's one of the calmest managers across the EFL, across the 92, really, McKenna. And they'll keep plugging away. And, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if he wanted to G things up with a change at half-time, maybe. But I don't think there'll be any kind of panic. down there in the technical area.
Not that far short of celebrating his 4th year in charge, Kieran McKenna. And the win tally very nearly in the 90s, which is very impressive when you consider that one of those seasons was in the Premier League. Matusua.
Didn't get many there, though.
No. They all count the same. Here's Volks. Switch of play. It's a beautiful ball out towards Mills, who's okay after that injury that he picked up. And he ran out of room and ended up tackling himself. The ball's gone out for a throw that Leif Davis will take in the Ipswich left-back position in front of the travelling, 1,000, 1,200 or so that have made the journey up and sitting in the left-hand side of the north stand, facing us here at the Kassam Stadium. The big, vast open car park and the cinema visible away to our left, where the 4th stand should be. And never will be. Here's Kipre playing it through his own penalty area, looking for O'Shea. And he's only found Krastev. Krastev now, shot from distance. De Kersmacher stinging the palms of Walton and nothing more. Well, Ipswich again, nearly architects of their own downfall.
Yeah, it's Kipre this time. Matusua were before. I mean, there's been a catalogue of loose passes in and around their own 18-yard box in this first half. They've got to be better than that. They've been a little bit too casual, in my opinion, Ipswich here. And Oxford are ready to take advantage. They already have done once. That was an excellent hit, wasn't it, from De Kersmacher? Left-footed, he caught it really sweetly.
De Kersmacher, a Belgian midfielder that they signed from Heracles in Dutch football, one of 7 players brought to the club last summer. Long throw for Oxford to defend here. They lead 1-0. Furlong with it, launched in. Couple of Oxford touches gathered away. The second of them from the goal scorer, Mark Harris. Out towards Matusua. Davis can turn easily in possession. He had plenty of time. Works it to Jaden Philogene. Philogene running towards the edge of the penalty area. Stops and checks and shown back inside by Mark Harris. Another ball in from Davis. High hanging cross that's comfortably claimed by Cumming. His clean sheet still intact, as is Oxford's lead. They've been ahead for a little over 10 minutes. Ball out towards the United right. Mills just trying to release Harris, but too much on the pass.
Yeah, just looking at some of the stats. I think they've had about 9 crosses now. 2 from corners, so 7 in open play. I don't think only one of them really was effective. It found Egley at the far post where he heads it onto the outside of the post. They've got to be better from wide areas.
Nunez, ball went over him, but finds Egley coming in off that right flank. Back from him to Nunez. Mopped up in the left-back position well by Curry, who's got it clear for Oxford towards halfway. O'Shea can run round it, find Cedric Kipre. Kipre able to slow the game down to a standstill just for a moment inside the centre circle before finding Furlong and then Matusua, and back it comes for Kipre again. Kipre now with the brisker pass, finding Philogene, clipped beautifully over Mills. Philogene, first time ball inside the box, Hellick knocks it away. Gets it out towards halfway where Kipre has got all the time that he needs to be able to bring it under control. Oxford just at times getting hemmed back inside their own half with everybody back behind the ball.
Yeah, look, the wingers are playing as auxiliary fullbacks, aren't they? It's a back 5 or back 6 sometimes.
Nunez, the cross that hits Brown, centre half out to block it. At the expense of another throw, which Furlong is going to take. Another opportunity for him to arch his back. He's got a long run up here at Oxford.
It's a good run up, isn't it? And he's using every centimetre of it, isn't he? This must be a 10-yard run up from Darnell Furlong.
It's 7, 8, 9 steps he takes before he hurls it inside the penalty area. It's knocked away by Harris. Back out to Furlong again. Now the Oxford fans appealing that it was a foul throw, but certainly the trailing foot still had the clear contact with the touchline. It was fine. Ball inside the penalty area and an improvised clearance from Long. Volleys it away and out for another Ipswich throw, this time on the left.
I think Philogene's caught first man itis, hasn't he? I mean, every single cross has hit the first man in his first half, and he's a top class talent. Just needs to sort that aspect of his game out, Jaden Philogene. We know he's a brilliant goal threat when he cuts inside. He's capable of scoring. from outside the box, but yeah, I would say 6 or 7 times now he's got himself into a lovely position through good footwork, and then the cross has been massively disappointing.
Plenty of room for improvement as far as Ipswich are concerned, for all that the possession is now 75-25 in their favour. They had an away game at Queen's Park Rangers where they completely dominated possession and won handsomely. But more recently than that, a game against Wrexham where they had possession in the 70s and didn't create enough chances and found themselves unable to get through the red brick wall that was parked on the edge of their penalty area. It's the Oxford fans that you can hear here. Philogene gone down and stayed down for a moment. Hellick will be called across by the referee, but he didn't give a free kick. And Oxford felt that Philogene went to ground and made the most of that.
Yeah, what it was a long ball put over the top for Philogene to chase, and he just collides. Now, was it obstruction? Was it a natural collision? Referee judged it to be sort of accidental. And we'd play on. But yeah, look, Ipswich fans, across from us, pretty quiet, aren't they? They're not enjoying what they're watching at the moment. I think they need a little bit more thrust, the Blues.
Eggerly. It's unlucky that he stumbled and then the ball had run out of play because of that stumble. He'd done well to win possession back from Curry. Denied him away past. Couldn't get back to his feet in time and lost the race to keep it in. So an Oxford throw. Leading 1-0. It would be just their 4th league win of the season. And it would take them temporarily ahead of tomorrow's games back out of the bottom 5. They'll be up to 19th if they win here. They lead at the moment courtesy of that Mark Harris drought-breaking goal. Tusua with the defensive error, and Harris capitalising upon it at the second attempt. And now another opportunity for Oxford to load the penalty area because Vokes has got the ball in his hand, and this will be an opportunity to launch a long throw inside the box. Hellick involved in a little bit of pushing and shoving inside the 6-yard box with Hurst, and is trying to make his way out, protest his innocence, but there's plenty going on between the pair of them, and the referee Donohue's called them over, asked them to desist.
Yeah, well, Hellick is a nuisance, isn't he, inside inside the opposition box. He's got a lot of goals for a defender. He's massive, and he's making himself a real irritant there in front of the keeper.
Long throw coming in now from Vokes. First contact from an Ipswich player is the retreating Matusua, headed it away. Nunez chasing after that, and has got the better of Mills, and now might just be able to instigate a counter-attack. Oxford got their shape back really quickly there. They haven't got possession back, but they did force Philogene to go all the way back for Walton. That was good work off the ball.
Great work off the ball. Excellent pressing there from Oxford. It was like a counter press, wasn't it? Lost it, but then straight away 2-3 players working in packs to pressurise these blue shirts, and they forced Ipswich Town backwards. Gary Rowett would have been chuffed to bits to see that.
Ipswich then winning a free kick for a foul by Krastev on Furlong. O'Shea's got it now. One of several former West Bromwich Albion players in this Ipswich squad. Here's another keeper. Back out to the left flank for Jaden Philogene. Matusua. Injury depriving Ipswich of the services of Jens Kajuste in the heart of the midfield alongside him tonight because of the ankle problem that he picked up at Hull the other night. Furlong. Now O'Shea. Ipswich still inside their own half, but not for long. Keeper can bring it forward some 10-15 yards. Feeds Philogene again. Davis making a dynamic run ahead of him down the left-hand side of the penalty area, and Mills kept an eye on him. Ipswich forced to go back as a result of that. O'Shea to Furlong, out towards Nunez. And Nunez just showing the ball for a moment to Krastev before playing it back towards halfway. Furlong, parallel with the halfway line for O'Shea. Now Philogene has lost it. Mills winning it back and then continuing his run down the right-hand side before Mark Harris tries to win it. And he got fouled by Matusua. Free kick. Taken intelligently by De Keersmaker, but from the wrong place, and they're going to have to retreat towards halfway and take it again.
Yeah, it's a good free kick for Oxford. I mean, he took it really well on the back foot, didn't he? Mark Harris. He received it on the back foot, turned, and he just got his body in the way of Matusawa, who's just too desperate to get his foot to the ball. And he did go through the back of him, I think, to bundle him to the floor. I think that was the right call. And look at this high line Ipswich are holding here, 10 yards outside the box. This means the delivery is going to have to be really precise.
So the free kick itself is only 8 yards inside the Ipswich half, and that high back line does retreat as it was pinged forward, not particularly effectively, and then Krastev's dived and is told to get up by Jack Taylor. Well, the referee saw it for what it was. It's a goal kick.
Yeah, I mean, it was a hammer touch, wasn't it, from Krastev? He knocks it out of his feet and it's clearly going to go out of play. And he's desperate to initiate contact that sends him to the deck. And, yeah, Matt O'Donoghue read that one. No problem.
Davis played forward again here for Taylor. Lovely composure from him in the midfield, just to change the angle and line of attack for Ipswich and work it out towards the right-hand side for Furlong. Got 90 seconds to go to half-time. A minute or two to be added on, you would imagine, before the break. Oxford 1, Ipswich 0 here on Talksport 2. With Mark Harris's goal, here's Philogene. Back outside the penalty area, onto his right foot, slipping it in towards Nunez, but unable to get the return ball, and Oxford get it away. Mark Harris chasing after a hopeful clearance, but knew that he wasn't going to be able to keep it in, and it's gone out for a throw in front of those Ipswich fans.
Great dribble again from Philogene. Keeps going and going and going, and it's a really sloppy pass into Nunez. Yeah, nothing. Don't think Nunez could do about it. Yeah, I think we'll be seeing Jack Clark quite early in this game, I suspect. McKenna must be feeling a little bit frustrated. He's had a lot of the ball, Philogene.
They can't find him this time. Mills can knock it away with the aid of Long. Ipswich then will win it back. Fourth official Stephen Martin has got the numbers board in his hand, and find out in a moment how many extra minutes have got to be played. Here's Taylor. Taylor forward. Philogene got goal side for a moment. Inside the penalty area. Lays it back again. Right-footed ball clipped in from Taylor. It's bounced awkwardly. Hurst, with his back to the direction of play, couldn't remotely get himself into a shooting position. And Oxford will clear as we go into 2 added minutes. And for all the possession they've had 6 attempts, all off target. Eggley with the header that skimmed the outside of the post, but other than that, they haven't really come close to working Jamie Cumming. Not got Hurst into it, haven't got Nunez into it, and you've talked about Philogene flattering to deceive at times.
Yeah, look, they've had 77% of the ball, and they've had 7 touches in the Oxford box. Oxford have had 6 in Ipswich. You know, that's better efficiency, isn't it, from Rowett's men.
Philogene with a cross that is blocked. Comes back outside the penalty area again for Kipre. Another opportunity for Philogene to deliver, just too high for Nunez, attacking the near post. Back in from Furlong. Defensive header goes square across the edge of the 6-yard box, but Cumming can come out and get his hands behind it and claim, and then play will stop because an Oxford player has gone down hurt, holding his head inside his own penalty area.
You have to, as much as we can be critical of Ipswich and their final ball and the decision making, Oxford are defending well, aren't they? They're defending the box very well. I think the central defenders have had strong first halves, no doubt about that. You know, we've seen a number of clearances. Helix 5, Volks has dropped in to good effect. He's made 4 clearances himself. Yeah, they've been resolute, haven't they, the home side? And on those moments where Ipswich have been sloppy, you know, they've looked like punishing them. So, yeah, it's been a really, really positive first half for these Oxford players, despite really not having very much of the ball at all.
And they're a minute away from having a half-time lead. Just that last bit of treatment just being administered. Is it Brown that is down there that's receiving treatment on the edge of his own penalty area? No, it's not Brown. Not Kieran Brown. I can see him. It's Krastev. And he's all right. He's going to be able to continue. Just help back up. And we'll hobble a little bit gingerly down towards halfway. Play will resume with a drop ball, which is going to be handed to Oxford, I think. Ipswich with work to do here. They have not pulled up any trees, for all the fact that their away form has been sparkling recently with those successive away wins at Queen's Park Rangers and Swansea and Hull. Haven't really come that close to a breakthrough so far this evening and have conceded an eminently preventable goal at the other end. Clearance from Cumming, kicking the ball from hands, probably about 30-40 seconds to go before the break. Flicked forward by Mills, but past Mark Harris and straight through for Walton, the Ipswich Town goalkeeper. Getting it forward again towards Furlong. One last opportunity for Ipswich Town to get themselves back on level terms before the break. Ball brought down in the midfield by Hurst. Taking it out towards the right-hand touchline. He's flicked it forward, but Oxford can easily win it back. Matusua stopping the counter-attack in its infancy, and then De Kersmacher knocked it forward, but not his best touch. Dan O'Shea gets it back to his goalkeeper again, and then he will be able to bring it forward. O'Shea, missing Matusua from close range. Mark Harris couldn't make the most of it. De Kersmacher made an early run past him. He can find Mills. Cutting inside onto his left foot. Good save from the goalkeeper. And Mark Harris couldn't quite get in there to be able to poke home. Krastev was lurking with intent as well. And it could have been two right at the end of the half. Stan Mills cutting in onto his left foot. And Walton forced into a more difficult save than any that Cumming has had to make at the other end. Oxford leading Ipswich 1-0 at half-time, but it might just have been two right at the end of the first half.
Yeah, it could easily have been. Could have doubled their advantage there. It was a good save, actually, from Walton. What a giveaway. So many giveaways in that first half from Ipswich Town. Really, really sloppy in and around the edge of their own box. On this occasion, they try and play it into midfield. It's cut out. And, you know, they're on it in a flash, aren't they? And Mills chops inside from the right, hits it really sweetly. And with bodies breathing down his neck for the rebound, Ipswich somehow scrambled it away. I think it was O'Shea that was first on the scene, managed to just shield it from an on-rushing attacker. But yep, look, Oxford making the most of some real sloppiness from the visitors.
Well, that's all that they could do, really. Hope that something would drop their way. They haven't tried to create an awful lot. That hasn't been part of the game plan. It's been all about containment and keeping a tight defensive shape. They've done that very well and have really succeeded in restricting the number of opportunities that Ipswich have been able to create.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, you've sort of... The switches of play to Philogene have been a bit of a problem for them. But from there, they've got into a good shape and they've defended their box, haven't they? And they've done that very well. In general play, yeah, look, they've not made many mistakes, Oxford. Ipswich are the ones that are making the mistakes. Oxford are solid. They haven't got much flair. They haven't got much creativity. But tonight, they might not need that. Especially if the pattern of the game continues. I think Kieran McKenna, with the players he's got on the bench tonight, there's a lot of quality available to him. Jack Clark is the obvious one, but there are others as well, with McAteer and Akpom and Azon as well. I think he'll make changes, if not at half-time, very early in the second half.
Yep, Kieran McKenna won't be happy. The room for improvement is tangible as things stand right now. Oxford outside the bottom four, but Ipswich outside the top four. And the breaks, Oxford 1, Ipswich 0.
Online, on DAB+, and on the app.
This is Talksport 2. Every Black Friday, the shouting starts. Neon signs, flashing discounts, and enough noise to make silence sound like luxury. MG took a quieter approach. We let our cars do the talking, and our offers speak for themselves. MG's Black Friday event runs from the 28th to the 30th of November, with unmissable offers across our award-winning petrol, hybrid, and electric vehicles. Visit this weekend and see for yourself. Find your nearest dealer at mg.co.uk. MG. Find your more.
TV's biggest phenomenon, Landman, is back on Paramount Plus.
Every dime you ever made, I pumped it out of the ground.
In this business, you have to get your hands dirty.
Embezzlement, insurance fraud, wire fraud.
Because playing by the rules can get you killed.
You gotta blow!
Billy Bob Thornton.
I run the company. She owns it.
Demi Moore.
I want success.
And Sam Elliott.
What's the plan here? It's about to come to a head.
Landman, new season. Stream exclusively on Paramount Plus. T's and C's apply. Subscription required. 18+.
Switching to Vodafone full fibre broadband is now as easy as pie. Ooh, freshly baked. It's a walk in the park. Hello, little fella. It's like taking candy from a baby. Come on, as if I'd do that. With One Touch Switch, it's easy. We sort everything out for you. We even contact your current provider. Plus, we'll help towards leaving fees. Switch today to full fibre broadband with Vodafone.
Up to £200 credit to cover leaving fees. More information and terms at vodafone.co.uk/broadband.
Trojan knows that to be the best, you need to feel your best. So right now, get up to 50% off new performance workwear. Shop Trojan at arco.co.uk. Offer on selected lines.
Quaker is an official sponsor of Team GB, and rightly so. After all, the rowing team's motto is Oats Move Boats. But why stop there? Team GB, if you're listening, try these on for size. Quaker sachets move bob sleighs. Ugly bowl forward roll. One for the gymnasts. The world's your stage when you eat some beige? Maybe just stick to Oats Move Boats. Quaker. Deliciously real, deliciously ugly. Sponsor of Team GB.
From Sputnik to Brexit results, Lincoln and Booth to Kennedy's motorcade, there are Fridays that have changed the world forever. The Times and Sunday Times have reported on them all. This Black Friday, you can go deeper into the stories as they unfold for just £1 for 4 months with a digital subscription. Visit thetimes.com/Black Friday to claim your offer. 18 plus new customers only. Offer ends 5 p.m. December the 3rd. T's and C's apply.
At Morrison's, we've got a 3 for 2 offer on the best party food. So you can serve fancy Christmas nibbles like lobster and prawn mac and cheese bites, prawn coconut curry donuts, and then do your croquettes with tomato chili jam. Morrison's, making more of Christmas. Majority of stores and online prices may vary. At Morrison's, daily 176 to 329 grams, £6 each.
Imagine a place where you can escape for a day. Get immersed in a world of rooms, inspiration and expertise. Where you can laze in luxury accommodation. And kids can feast from 95 pence. Tickets are free to everyone and include all the attractions. You've just imagined a day out at IKEA. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
What you got here for us then, young Egon?
It's Talksport's live football, Governor. Where do you want it?
Bleeding hell, it's humongous! Right, take them 110 live Premier League exclusives and knob them over there with the 150 EFL fixtures.
I'm doing it.
Shove them 20 live Carabao Cup matches on top of the 40 Europa and Conference League fixtures.
Oh, flip's sake.
And I think, Egon, that's us done it.
Hear over 500 games of live football on Talksport and Talksport 2.
What's in this trailer, Governor?
Hells, bells. It's another 100 2026 World Cup games.
Bloomin' heck.
Tell you what, shove a top on them and stick them in your brother's lockup. Yeah.
Your live sports station.
Oh, what a move. This is Talksport 2.
Welcome back to the Kassam here on Talksport 2. Half-time score. Oxford 1, Ipswich 0. Mark Harris with the goal. And we've got the second half coming your way shortly. Then tomorrow here on Talksport 2, we've got an EFL double-header for you. Stoke, who started the night in second, take on Hull at 12:30 before runaway leaders Coventry City host West Brom at the CBS Arena. The Sky Blues with a 10-point lead at the top of the Championship. They've scored 19 goals more than their nearest competitor. The 47 they've got compared to Ipswich's 28. But ahead of the match, their manager Frank Lampard has been calling for calm and perspective.
We keep doing what we're doing. It's so early in the season still. You know, we see the league. No one's stupid. Stoke and teams like Middlesbrough are good teams in and around us. Ipswich's and Southamptons and these teams, we know they can come big runs because they're in the Premier League last year and they're working at a different level to us. That's the Championship. But what we're trying to do is do our thing. No time to look at that for too long. Okay, yeah, take the confidence in what we're doing at the moment, but keep our feet on the ground and understand what got us to this place and try and continue it.
Well, exactly a year ago, Frank Lampard replaced Mark Robbins. He took over a side who were in the bottom 8 at the time. It's been a remarkable year.
It has, yes. I always felt that Coventry team he inherited was miles better than where they were at the time. But you've got to remember that Frank himself wasn't a popular appointment. A lot of Coventry fans were sceptical. They was gutted to lose Mark Robbins. So he had to overcome that at the outset as well. But he quickly... The supporters realised that he knew what he was doing. And what's really impressed me about him is the light touch that he's used. A lot of managers would have a big ego and go in there and say, I want a whole new team. But what Frank Lampard's done is he's actually recognised that I've got good players already, and I think I can improve this group of players, and you have to say he has. So it's been phenomenal. The goals that they're scoring is just nuts, really. They're on a roll, and they fully deserve to be at the summit of the table, and I will be backing them to go up this season. I think it just feels like it is their time.
Yep, I will as well. But the last few seasons have seen some front-running teams, and think back to Leicester a couple of years ago, experienced a big lapse of form in the Championship at critical time. What do you think it is about Coventry that would prevent them from having those same issues?
I'll tell you what the problem could be, and that is the lack of squad depth. They don't have a lot on the bench. They have a really good strong 11, really strong sort of 14. If they get big injuries to key players, then it could be a massive problem. But the reason I feel that they'll be okay is that we're getting close to January now. And with the position that they're in, surely the ownership, and they're an ambitious ownership, surely they will invest and protect against that fear of injuries, ruining their campaign. But of course, you can't go too crazy because you don't want to upset the balance of the squad and the harmony inside that dressing room. So they've got some big decisions to make over the coming weeks. But I think as long as they can get to January, still with a nice healthy advantage, I'm confident they can do well. The reason I am so confident is just that they've got a number of goal scorers, and if you score lots of goals, you're going to win an awful lot of games.
Well, certainly scoring lots of goals. West Brom in their way tomorrow. That game underway at 3 here on Talksport 2. At the same time, Adrian Durham will be taking around the grounds in the Premier League and the EFL over on Talksport. One of the matches he'll bring you all the goals from is Millwall against Southampton. Of course, Saints sacked their manager Will Still earlier in the month. Since then, Tom de Eckert's been feeling the role on an interim basis. He's the first man to win his first 4 games in charge of Southampton in more than 80 years. Scored 13 goals and conceded just 4. Martin Sanders of the Total Saints podcast joined Dan Fudge on the EFL Fan Network yesterday, but he said that it's too premature to give Eckert the job just yet.
Not just yet. He's doing a great job as the interim manager, isn't he? I think he will get it. Just hang it out a little bit longer. We might get a few more results in the meantime.
Are you going to make him sing for his supper a little bit, are you? Because, I mean, bear in mind, you aren't just beating teams, you are smashing them.
Yeah, we are. We've been so good. He's made just minor tweaks. We had a really good squad of players. And now you look back on it, Dan, and you think, what was Will Still doing? What was so bad? What was so badly wrong from to the same group of players playing in the same formation, because they're playing the same system, really? How come it's so much better now? There's serious questions got to be asked about what went on before. But the big test for Eckert will come when we're tested, when we fall behind, when we've got to chase a game. We've not been in that position under him yet. We've not fallen behind and had to chase a game. Adversity tests everyone, doesn't it? And I think that's his next big test now. But I think the club can give him a little bit of leeway now. He's going to want it, and they'll be thrashed now. How long do I get this job for? Yeah. The club will want him to have it for the year, probably. If they put him on a short-term contract, you can get to March, April, and if it's not quite right and you're in touching distance, you can change then. But I think just give it a little bit of rope. Don't go over-committing like they've done in the past.
Now that's Southampton fan Martin Sanders. A reminder, you can catch the EFL Fan Network with Dan Fudge at 5 p.m. every Thursday, right here on Talksport 2. It's also available on the Talksport app or wherever you get your podcasts from. So, Adrian Clark, do you think that he's done enough to deserve the job on a permanent basis? And does the start that he's made in an easier run of games actually show that Will Still wasn't far away from getting it right anyway and shouldn't have been dismissed?
That's an interesting way to look at it. Look, Will Still is a proven manager. You have to say that Tom de Eckert's is doing amazingly. He could not be doing any better, and he's put himself in the frame. How often has it really worked long term though, where a caretaker's come in, someone vastly inexperienced, does brilliantly, gets the job, and normally it then goes pear-shaped and the club have to make another change. So I would hold off. Do you know what? I just leave it as it is for a little bit longer, because the Saints players are certainly responding to Eckert at the minute.
Well, the two teams back out for the second half here at the Kassam Stadium. Oxford away to our left-hand side, lining up with Cumming in goal, Long, Hellick, Brown and Curry, Vokes and de Kirschmacher, Mills, Luke Harris and Krastev, and Mark Harris, the goal scorer, up front. No sign of any Ipswich changes just yet. Walton in goal, Furlong, O'Shea, Kipre and Davis, Jack Taylor and Matusua, Ageli, Nunez and Philogene, and Hurst up front. Matt Donoghue, the referee, yet to produce a yellow card. We've just seen the one goal. We've seen a couple of smart saves, notably right at the end of the first half from Walton to deny Mills and Oxford a second goal. What will Ipswich's reaction be?
Well, there needs to be a reaction, doesn't there? There needs to be a little bit more urgency to their play, a little bit more dynamism. There's been some nice patterns, some nice football, but in and around the final third, they've not been sharp, and they have to be much, much better in that department. If they are, I'm actually quite confident that they can turn this around.
Those are the thoughts of EFL expert Adrian Clark with us here on Talksport 2. Getting the EFL weekend underway. Oxford leading Ipswich by a goal to nil. The two sets of players just being made to wait for the start of this second half. They were out just a touch early. It is Ipswich that do get the second half underway. Plenty of heavy ammunition waiting in the wings. They've got the likes of McAteer and Clark and Akpom and Azon all on the bench to bolster this forward line. No changes as yet from Kieran McKenna. Free kick for Oxford on the edge of their own penalty area. Taken quickly and not effectively by Vokes. It's come straight back again down the right-hand side of the midfield, but the ball is cleared off Egley and out of play for an Oxford goal kick away to our left.
Just looking at the shot count, obviously they've had 6 shots each, the teams. None on target for Ipswich. 5 on target for Oxford. So I think they'll be absolutely delighted with their first half performance, keeping the tractor boys at bay and then giving them plenty of headaches in and around their box, mainly through pressure and forcing errors. Can they maintain it? That's the big question.
It's another Ipswich free kick, and they've started the second half by dominating possession. Keeper taking the free kick quickly, and Mark Harris was making no attempt to retreat, and Keeper just nutmegged him. Now Harris will put a little bit of pressure on the back pass, which went to Walton. It comes back at the keeper, fired forward towards halfway. And Oxford winning the second ball with de Kirschmacher. Ipswich getting it back. Furlong out to Egley, coming in off that right flank, the Norwegian international. Inside the centre circle, Matusua to O'Shea. Kipre down for Jaden Philogene. Right in front of us. We're situated about 10 yards or so outside the penalty area that Ipswich are attacking in this second half, and they've got a free kick right in front of us now, won by Jack Taylor, and an opportunity for one of Ipswich's several set-piece specialists left of centre, and sort of 25, 26 yards from goal.
He just got a bit too tight, didn't he? Hellick, touch, over-eager to just pinch that ball, and Jack Taylor's clever. He gets his body in there, blocks it, and he has to go through Jack Taylor. And this is a free kick that's definitely within shooting range. They've got obviously a number of experts. I remember at QPR they scored a couple, didn't they, from free kicks. Nunez will be over it. Leif Davis is there, of course. I would suggest Nunez will get the nod here.
Well, the angle certainly favours the right footer rather than Davis with his left to clip it in towards the far post. Nunez with 3 very deliberate steps back, runs up, hits it right-footed straight into the quintet of Oxford players standing in the wall. Matusua then works it back into the fray. O'Shea tries to help it on. It's cleared away from him. High hoisted ball out that Leif Davis will leave for Taylor in the midfield. And he swept it out towards the right-hand side for Egley, who, in trying to play it past Curry, has then raised his left boot and caught the Oxford fullback around the underside of the chin. It's a free kick to the hosts, who still lead 1-0.
Well, he did well, didn't he, Curry? He got nice and tight to him. Pressurised the first touch on Egley, which was loose, and then he draws the foul. It was another good switch, though, wasn't it, from Jack Taylor? I think you used the word composed in that first half about him. He has been. He's played some lovely long passes, and he seems very calm in the heart of that Ipswich midfield. He's not a regular, of course. Okay, Eustace would ordinarily play, wouldn't he? So I think he's come in and done okay tonight.
Yeah, he's only started 8 games all season, Jack Taylor. And even with the Kieran McKenna rotation, he's very much the third cab off the rank in the midfield battle for the 2 places. Here's Walton for Kipre. Pressure being applied again by Mills, but once more, Ipswich can play out from that press and find Leif Davis. Davis for Matuswa near the edge of the centre circle. Ball played by him down the right-hand side for Furlong. Oxford 1, Ipswich 0. If it stays this way, Oxford up to 19th, and Ipswich will be 5th ahead of everybody else playing over the course of the weekend. Ipswich then with their rearranged game in hand at Blackburn on Tuesday. Ball on the left-hand side with Philogene. Leif Davis wins the corner. A little double ricochet actually off Mills. Back into Davis. And out of play for a goal kick. Excellent defending from Stanley Mills.
That's outstanding, isn't it? I think if you're a winger in the Oxford team here tonight, you've got to graft. You have to put a shift in. And they are doing that. Certainly Mills. Because Leif Davis is so adventurous. He's a buccaneering left back. He's always popping up. And yeah, he followed him all the way there. That's excellent defending from Stan Mills.
Oxford's centre-halves came back and were offering themselves for the short one from the goalkeeper coming. I don't think there was anybody in the ground that remotely expected either of them to be played in.
No.
It was whacked upfield. And it comes back again. Hellick now working it down the right-hand side for Mills, who was hoping to take it. It's come off him last. He doesn't like the decision, but I do think it is correct. And Leif Davis will take a throw on halfway. Ipswich protecting a 6-game unbeaten streak. Only defeats that they've suffered all season away at Preston and Middlesbrough, and then that shock 3-0 home loss to Nathan Jones's Charlton, which didn't really set them back. It was the catalyst for this impressive recent run. Kipre knocking it forward, Philogene to Davis, and trying to get the return ball, but Hellick read it easily, and then Vokes can clear towards halfway. Ipswich can get it away again with O'Shea heading it straight into Matuswa, and then Mark Harris stayed down. O'Shea just walking back, keeping his eyes on the ball, and he fell over his opponent who was down behind him.
Yeah. Not sure what to make of that, but what I did enjoy was the football between Leif Davis and Philogene. I mean, some really slick 1- and 2-touch play down this near side. They have tied Oxford in knots at times with that combination play. Just haven't been able to find that killer pass or cross at the end of it.
Here's Furlong. Back to his goalkeeper. Kipre showing for it on the edge of the penalty area. Nudging it forward towards Taylor. Taylor can turn in the midfield. He's 5 yards inside his own half, but not for long. Now he can progress into Oxford territory. Flicked out towards Furlong. Furlong to Eggerley. Eggerley back for Furlong. Right-footed ball clipped in. Hits the nearest defender, but good covering again from Curry. Ipswich do now have their first corner of the second half. They still trail 1-0.
They're just really slick and fluid, aren't they? When they get going, Ipswich pass and move. You've got 2 adventurous fullbacks that will support and come around the outside. And that was lovely football. Really good to watch. But once again, it's a yellow shirt that gets the blocking.
6 waiting in blue inside the penalty area. Everybody back for Oxford as the corner swept in towards the edge of the box and volleyed in brilliantly by Davis. That is a magnificent set piece. And he's got Ipswich back on level terms 7 minutes into the second half. Oxford had everybody back, and they were drawn towards the runners attacking the edge of the 6-yard box, but Davis waited on the edge of the penalty area, and the corner was bent perfectly towards him onto his left foot, and he stroked home a side-footed volley into the bottom left-hand corner that makes it Oxford 1, Ipswich 1.
Well, volleys don't come any more precise than that from Leif Davis. He watches the ball onto the side of his left foot and just punches it crisply into the corner from 20 yards out. That is pure class from the Ipswich left back. You always should have someone on the edge of the box, in my opinion. Lots of teams. Oxford aren't the only ones guilty of it. Lots of teams put every player inside the danger zone, and they leave the guy spare, and he has punished them there. That was technically brilliant, wasn't it, from Leif Davis?
No, technically brilliant from Ipswich. A wonderful set piece, perfectly executed, and now they're on the front foot with Hurst, but not for long. Coming racing to the edge of his penalty area, can get the ball away. He hasn't scored a stack of goals, Leif Davis, in his career. I think that's only number 7.
Wow.
But he did score on his last appearance here, and scores again at the Kassam. Now Philogene, right-footed effort, and the goalkeeper smuggles it wide. Bounced horribly in front of him. He got his left hand to it, flicked it round the post and out of play for a corner.
Wow, they're on the roll now. Ipswich Town and Philogene and Davis again down the left, just running amok. Philogene, he picked the wrong option time and again in the first half. This time he does brilliantly. Ducks inside and he whips it right-footed towards that far post, and the keeper's at full stretch, isn't he? It wasn't an easy save for Jamie Cumming.
Well, they didn't have a shot on target in the first half, but they've scored with one and then forced a good save with another in this second. In comes this latest Ipswich corner towards the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away by Brown. Left-footed volley back in from Philogene, and then a right-footed effort, which the goalkeeper's done very well to palm away. It was Nunez that struck it with real ferocity about 25 yards out. And it almost not coming off his feet. He got his hands up in front of his face. It was a good save because it came at him so briskly, but it's all Ipswich now.
Yeah, it's a palm stinger, wasn't it? Goodness me, he hit it. Marcelino Nunez.
Furlong to take a long throw. Hurled inside the penalty area. Keeper heading it on. Nobody behind him. And Mills shepherds it over the line and out of play for a goal kick. But the whole feel of the game has changed. 10 minutes into the second half. It is 1 apiece on Talksport 2.
Take your time. That will be the message from Gary Rowett over these restarts. Just kill this vibe, because the vibe is very positive for Ipswich at the moment. They're coming at them, they're swarming all over them, and they just have to try and find a way to stem this tide, the home side.
1-1 the scoreline. Jim Proudfoot and Adrian Clark talking you through the action at the Kassam, a mild night here in Oxfordshire, but heating up now for Ipswich Town. Philogene chasing a back pass that was intended for Cumming. He did get it away in time. Keeper can mop up at the back and knock it away from Luke Harris. Ball played back to the goalkeeper. Now Walton will get it out again. It's the Ipswich fans that you can hear now. Got that disappointing first half out of the system with the equalising goal from Davis. High ball swept down in his direction again, headed away from him by Sam Long. Wonderful servant for Oxford of nearly 300 games now. And then Davis is caught by Mills's challenge and stayed down injured. Ipswich, no thought of him having any treatment, immediately take the free kick. Matusua at the Furlong. Egley now, right on the right-hand touchline, and he's won another corner.
Yeah. Again, Ipswich on the front foot. It was really interesting. Once Leif Davis picked himself up off the floor, he got himself into that inside forward position. It's the Cucurella position. He does it so often for Chelsea, where he's like a left-sided forward at times. Calafiori does it sometimes for Arsenal. Really, really bold this from Ipswich Town.
Balling towards the near post. O'Shea made a run. It would have been a free header, but he couldn't get anything on it. And Oxford smuggle it clear, only as far as Walton, who's 10 yards inside the Oxford half as he picks that up, the goalkeeper. Davis plays the latest cross inside the penalty area. That is blocked and knocked away by Long. And then Ipswich get their foot on the ball in the midfield with Matusua. And although he doesn't send a great ball towards Davis, the youngster has got time to wrap his left foot around it and keep it in. 1-1 the scoreline. Ipswich with the long ball over the top. Hurst bringing it down. The angle's tight. The goalkeeping's good. Cumming ended up wearing it, but it's a brave save to keep parity intact for Oxford.
Oh, what a pass. Jack Taylor it was. He's produced some absolutely brilliant long-range passes in this game, Taylor, and that was a beauty over the top of the Oxford defence. And then the touch from George Hurst is magnificent. It really is. He gets it under control. There's not a lot of space for the shot. He just whacks it. And Cumming, to his credit, just stays big and takes it in the face. But that was good football, wasn't it? From the Blues. They're really turning up the heat here. If they were in sort of second gear in that first half, they're sort of through 3 and into 4th now, aren't they?
You know how you go to the dentist and they give you one of those inspections and they go 8, 7, 6, 5, count them. Not sure there are quite as many there now for Jamie Cumming as there were a couple of minutes ago. I think 3, 2 and 1 have gone.
Oh dear.
No, he's all right. I don't think he has lost any teeth. It probably caught him on the nose. That's what's being attended to.
It's a stinger. Yeah.
But it was a very brave piece of goalkeeping.
Brilliant it was. Yeah, he didn't duck away from it.
Not at all.
And then a few minutes ago he had that palm stinger as well, didn't it? It was really rocket at him. It almost knocked him off his feet, like you said. He had a quieter than expected first half, Jamie Cumming, but I think between now and the final whistle, Ipswich was going to keep him very busy.
Is his nose always pointing towards his left ear, or is that something new?
Dear, oh dear. I mean, look, I know all about that. I've had my nose broken. It's not good. But you can just crunch it back into place.
Oh, don't.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't even bear thinking about it. That is an outstanding piece of goalkeeping from Cumming, former Chelsea youngster who's only missed 1 league game since the start of last season. And his bravery and the quality of the save is just acknowledged there by Hellick. Cummings okay, he's back on his feet. He's going to be right back in the thick of the action because it's another Ipswich corner. We played an hour, it's 1-1, it's all Ipswich now. Swept in towards the edge of the 6-yard box and cleared back out for Matusua, who sends a bouncer in that is easily claimed by Cumming, who watched it into his midriff. It's not the best clearance from him, though. It's come off the top of his boot and doesn't make halfway. Mills does well, wins it back from Philogene. And he can now drive forward, but he had players converging on him from all sides. Taylor's won it back. Nunez played out towards Egley on the right-hand side. There's a little bit of action on the benches down away to our right, and I think changes will be made. It's going to be Oxford first, I think. Gary Rowett and his black baseball cap is just giving instructions. The 4th official knows what numbers to put up, and I think the first Oxford change is imminent. It's 1-1 here with Mark Harris scoring on 24 minutes for the hosts. Leif Davis equalising 8 minutes into the second half for Ipswich. Keeper tries to find him with a ball that's played forward and has missed him. So changes, first of all for Oxford. Now we're going to see Mills and Mark Harris come off, with Shemi Puaheta coming on and Will Lancashire coming on to lead the line as well. So 2 straight swaps. Now Puaheta for Mills on the wing, and Lancashire, the young striker on loan from Tottenham, up front to replace Mark Harris. But I think he will sleep that little bit easier tonight, having broken that long goal drought in the first half.
Yeah, I'm delighted for him. Yeah, it must have been such a weight on his shoulders.
And Puaheta is in straight away, right-hand side of the penalty area, cutting back inside. Couldn't find a way past Matusua, and Ipswich have got their defensive shape back. Long, though, to Vokes. Vokes rolling it down. Puaheta, low-driven cross. Second one was better. Chested down inside the penalty area by Luke Harris, but straight over the dead ball line and out for a goal kick.
Oh, it's just what you want as a sub. Come off the bench and you're straight into the game. Puaheta, heavily involved. But look, Lancashire was surprised to see him on the bench in a way. And he's seen Mark Harris get his goal, and now it's over to him. But it's a good sub to have up your sleeve. Obviously 5 goals this season for Oxford. He's done ever so well on this loan spell.
There's Philogene on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Just given a little shove. Referee says no. He wasn't strong enough. Didn't stay on his feet, and Long can get it away towards halfway. Lancashire couldn't get to the ball that was punted in his direction. And Ipswich win it back with Kipre. Now Matusua getting the instruction to turn. Taylor almost able to play another delicious ball into the path of Hurst. Brown beating Nunez to the loose ball near the edge of the box, giving Lancashire something to chase upfield. And he's done well. Vokes, a little scoop with the outside of the boot. Had to let it run across his path. Has got it now on his right-hand side, getting towards the byline. Stood up high by the Polish international, but straight into the hands of Walton, and it stays 1-1.
Well, the two subs have livened Oxford United up, haven't they? Particularly Plaheta. But that was good hold-up play as well from Will Lancashire. Yeah, I think they needed it. I think that was a good time for Gary Rowett to make those changes. You know, they played well in the first half. They'd been ever so resolute, but the game had changed. And I think some of the players were flagging a little bit.
Now Hurst chasing a ball that is worked for him down the right-hand side of the penalty area. He's got there. He's trying to draw Kieran Brown out of position. Oxford had doubled up on him and Curry got it away. Just guilty of overplaying it for a moment there with Krastev. Ipswich have won it back, not in the dangerous area they might have done when Krastev very nearly got caught in possession. Oxford end up getting a free kick given their way about 10 yards inside their own half.
You remember I said at half-time, 6 shots each, 5 on target for Oxford, none for Ipswich. Now, it's still 6 shots, 5 on target for Oxford, but it's 14 shots for Ipswich, 5 on target, and we're not even 20 minutes into the second half, so that spells out how this game has shifted.
So in that second half, it's 8 shots without reply for Ipswich, and 5 of the 8 have been on target, including the goal, and the possession has gone up a fraction as well, 77% in the second half for Ipswich Town. But the Will Vogue's long throw is still a potentially potent weapon for Arsenal, for Oxford, I beg your pardon, and he's got the opportunity to launch a long one inside the penalty area now, and she's flicked towards goal, and is cleared. A weapon in the Arsenal is what I was trying to say, I think.
It's all right. I'd fully understand if you can't get Arsenal out of your head. You know, been that brilliant this season, Jim.
Just too much time spent sat next to you in your Arsenal garb. So you've raided the club shop again.
I have, yeah.
Here, Ipswich are able to bring the ball forward. Oh, Poeta with a poor back header. Philogene is in. Left-hand side of the penalty area, and he fell over the ball. And Cumming came out and pounced on it.
Yeah, well, we've seen some loose passes, haven't we, in this half of the pitch that's down beneath us, and that was another one, poor back header. He's onto it, Philogene, but in fairness, again, Cumming was off his line and narrowed the angle quickly. But yeah, this is my warmest coat. Yeah, they gave me this one. It does have a little subtle Arsenal badge on it. I was hoping no one had noticed. But
a little subtle Arsenal badge equates to, I don't know, is that 9 inches tall?
It's just, it blends in though, doesn't it? It blends in. I'm wearing it for warmth, not for fashion.
Well, clearly. 1-1 with 21 minutes played in the second half here on Talksport 2. Game setting an affair for a fine conclusion here. It's past this stage that Ipswich scored their 2 goals the other night, and that indeed Oxford scored theirs at Norwich very late in the game. Ipswich have it with Matusua, just clipping it forward and giving Leif Davis something to chase after. Long was there, knocked it away. It's out for a throw. Ipswich had taken it quickly, and we'll get another one. Philogene taking this one quickly as well, into the feet of Taylor. Matusua. And Matusua 15 yards outside the penalty area. Egley heading the ball down on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Can't get a cross in, and then there's a collision between Nunez and Krastev over on the far side of the penalty area that has left both writhing in pain inside the Oxford box.
Nunez is... he's given it a few rolls, isn't he? He's been going left and right. He's rolling over and over. He's clearly struggling a little bit. They're about to make changes anyway, Ipswich. Kieran McKenna had just called back 3 of the players that were warming up. I think one of them was Clark. I think one of them was Ashley Young. So we'll have to see whether Nunez is okay or not.
Well, he is still rolling around inside the penalty area. The chance aimed at referee Donoghue from the Ipswich supporters, who had a good view of that, suggests they think that should have been a spot kick.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we don't have the monitor here to check out the replays, do we? But yeah, they were both initially hurt, but he seems to have come off a little bit worse here, and that they're not showing the replay on the big screen, are they?
Nope.
Which might be for a reason, I don't know.
could be. They're sagely avoiding it. It's 1-1. Just past the midway stage of the second half. Nunez back on his feet. Don't forget, 2 more games from the top of the EFL live on Talksport 2 tomorrow. Stoke Hull at 12:30, and then Coventry are taking on Charlton at 3. Both those games live and exclusive to national radio on Talksport 2. Also tomorrow we got all the goals as they go in from the Premier League and the EFL on Game Day Live, with the award-winning Adrian Durham from 1 over on Talksport, including first news of events at Brentford Burnley, Man City Leeds and Sunderland Bournemouth. Full classified results service as well at 5:15. We've also got 2 live exclusive Premier League games for you tomorrow. Spurs have let in 9 this week. They host Fulham tomorrow night at 8. And then Palace try to put European disappointment behind them at noon on Sunday when they face Manchester United at Selhurst Park. Both of those games live over on Talksport. Saturday at 8, Sunday at 12 for Spurs Fulham and Palace Manchester United. This one, 1-1 between Oxford and Ipswich with 20 minutes to go. And Kieran Brown can bring the ball forward into the heart of the midfield. Controls it, plays it back inside his own half for Vokes. Nunez gets permission to come back on and sprints on inside the Oxford half, which suggests that he's okay, and then he's immediately put on the deck again as Kieran Brown leans into him, but it is a free kick that will be taken by Ipswich, and here come the changes. Yep. Now we're going to see Akpom, Young and Jack Clark. Hurst is coming off. So he's the first man off. Philogene is off. And Furlong as well.
Yep. Well, positive changes. Clark will come in on the left. Akpom obviously will go up front instead of Hurst. And look, Ashley Young for Darnell Furlong. So I suppose it's just like for like. They're not changing the system. They're not doing anything different. But 3 really good players to bring off the bench. 3 players that have played in the Premier League, of course. And that is the difference, isn't it, between a team like Ipswich and Andy Roxford's. Such depth.
So Young on, Premier League winner, Serie A winner. He's played nearly 800 games for club and country, but at the age of 40, it's the first time he's ever faced Oxford in his career tonight.
Really?
I know. Surprising, isn't it?
He's still in great condition, isn't he? Look at him down there.
He
still looks very young, really.
Got possession now. He's rolling the ball forward. And getting it back, lending it to Matusua. Now feeding O'Shea. Worked into the feet of the retreating Chuba Akpom. And a free kick goes Ipswich's way. 15 yards outside the penalty area. It's right at the limit of shooting territory, if not beyond.
Well, you've got to put your laces through it from here. I don't think there's any two-step run-ups and curlers from this kind of range. You really have to leather this. And it's straight, isn't it? And that's always really difficult, I think, from these kind of situations, because if you want to cross it, you kind of have to pass it wide because there's no angle. I think Nunez wants to shoot, and it'll be a different type of free kick from him. I think he will have to hit this hard.
Oh, he definitely wants to shoot. I mean, you think back to David Luiz used to see his eyes light up whenever they got a free kick in this sort of range. I mean, it is a long way out. Here he comes, Nunez, right-footed, through the wall and deflected away. And Clark will watch it out of play for, it's been given as a goal kick. Clark thought that was the corner. I did as well, but a goal kick has been given. It must have hit an Ipswich player as it came through the wall.
Yeah, it must have. Yeah, he slipped, didn't he, as he approached that ball. I was writing a piece on Villa this week and talking about how they've been picking up results, and obviously they've been scoring free kicks, and just watching those dippers. Could you call them a knuckleball?
That Morgan Rogers one was fantastic.
Absolutely awesome. But Buendia had done it the week before. The technique that these free kick takers have these days is unbelievable, really. And I wondered if he'd go for that technique to dip it over the wall, but we didn't really get to see because he slipped on contact.
17 minutes to go. Oxford will be able, through Curry, to get the ball back for Cumming, whose magnificently brave save denied Hurst. And Ipswich a second goal. 1-1 the scoreline with 73 players.
Lost their way a bit, haven't they? Since that blistering spell where they really were on fire. And that's why I think McKenna made the change. It's just, there's a lull. And they've definitely, I think the Oxford changes shifted the momentum. And McKenna's now reacted. And Ipswich haven't yet settled into this new personnel. They need to raise it, don't they? Because that clock is ticking by now.
Yep, 16 to go. But a fair bit of stoppage time to be added already. It's 1 apiece. And a throw that'll be taken on the Oxford left-hand side here by Vokes. Plenty of targets inside that penalty area. It's taken a flick on its way through, and out came Walton and did enough. Just got maybe a shoulder to... It was Hellett that came in behind him inside the 6-yard box. Just got a right foot to that to poke it towards goal. It was Lancashire, actually. And the goalkeeper came out and narrowed the angle immediately, but Oxford have their first corner of the second half, which will be taken on the right-hand side by de Kerschmacher. Raises his left arm above his head, addresses the ball, hits it in right-footed, and it's knocked away before it got to Long. Clip back right-footed, too much on that surely for de Kerschmacher. It has beaten him and gone over the line, and out for a throw that will be taken on the Ipswich left-hand side.
They do score a lot of set-piece goals. Oxford, these are two decent set-piece teams, actually. And they look a threat over them. Got some big guys. 2 centre-backs, Brown and Hellick, are huge.
Well, Oxford are going to make another double change, and we're going to see Romney and Goodrum coming on, and Luke Harris and Krastev are the players that will make way. Ollie Romney, the Dutch-born striker who plays his international football for Indonesia. They paid £1 million for him last season. Just the 1 goal so far, which came against Coventry back in March. He's hardly seen any action at all this season. And Tyler Goodrum, who started the season in the team, and then has been left out for a while before making his comeback the other night. And he's got another 15 minutes or so here. So another double change being made. Okay. Oxford 1, Ipswich 1.
He did well in the promotion season. He did really well. Scored goals, made goals. Was excellent in the playoff final.
Effort from distance is some way wide. He just strolled onto that, Tyler Goodrum.
That was a nonchalant effort. He's about 30 yards out. The ball's moving quite quickly, and he just pings it on the run. He doesn't hesitate. He just attacks the ball, drives it, and I tell you, it skids just a yard or so wide of the post. That was a decent effort.
Shots, a rare commodity for Oxford in this second half. Ipswich have got themselves back level, but will still regarded as 2 points dropped, I'm sure. If they are unable to find a way through and a winner, Oxford would see their winless streak extend to 6, but it'll be 3 draws in a row. Kerschmacher with time to bring the ball away on the edge of his own penalty area. Hook one over the top. And here's Shemi Puaheta. Puaheta in goal side. 2-1 to Oxford. Brilliant ball out from the back from de Kerschmacher. And Puaheta raced onto it. And as soon as he got there, he was goal side of Jack Taylor. Had the beating of him for pace. Had plenty of time to think about it. But hit a crisp, low left-footed shot into the bottom right-hand corner. And Oxford lead again.
Well, that was not part of the script as far as Ipswich Town are concerned. And what a goal it was. That is direct football at its very best. De Kerschmacher plays a gorgeous long pass from midway inside his own half, in behind Leif Davis. And the touch from Plaqueta is fantastic. He cuts across his man for the 1v1 with the goalkeeper. And then you're thinking, has he got the composure to finish it? And yes, he has, is the answer. Low and hard into the near post from Plaqueta. He has been excellent since coming on. And that might just be the winner.
Well, in his Norwich days, he was only veteran of 1 East Anglian derby, and I think it was very much a cursory involvement in that. But he's just scored a big goal against Ipswich here. Here's Leif Davis. Ipswich looking for an immediate response with the ball swept through the penalty area, but it's bypassed Eggerly and gone out of play for an Oxford throw. They have got 12 minutes to hang on here, Oxford, to a scoreline that will take them up to 19th and which will leave Ipswich outside the top 4 in the table.
Yeah, it'll be a desperately disappointing result for Ipswich. I mean, I told you the tide was turning. It just felt like it. Ipswich had had that spell, and Gary Rowett freshened up his troops at just the right time. Really well-timed subs. And Ipswich have not been the same since.
2-1 to Oxford. Looking for just the second home win of the league campaign. Clark's lost it in the heart of the midfield for Ipswich. Oxford bring it forward again to Kerschmacher. Clever little backheel flick. Oh, a driven left-footed effort from Romney. Only just past the top left-hand corner.
Oh, what a goal this would have been. Beautiful little backheel from De Kerschmacher. And then he comes onto it, Romney, like a player that's already scored 10 this season. It's a really confident effort. And he drills it hard. And it's whistling towards the top corner. And it couldn't have been missed by much. That was terrific.
Oxford 2, Ipswich 1 here on Talksport 2. So as things stand, depending on the results in the 2 games that will bring you from the EFL tomorrow, Coventry could end the weekend 13 points clear at the top of the championship.
Yeah, amazing.
Stoke will be second going into their game with Hull at 12:30 unless Ipswich get a couple without reply late on in this. Coventry taking on Charlton tomorrow. Ball down towards the Ipswich left. Worked in by Leif Davis. It's gone over the line and the offside flag up anyway.
We said about ahead of kickoff, we said where are the goals going to come from, didn't we? And full credit to them, they've carried much more of a threat tonight than anticipated. They've had 7 shots on target now. Obviously the first one was gifted to them, a real error from Matusiwa, but that was a good goal, wasn't it? A really good goal. Brilliant pass over the top, and Plaheta had a lot to do. And he did it brilliantly.
Going to see McAteer and Azon introduced for Ipswich. That will be their final changes, and they're imminent. Ashley Young getting it forward, squeezing it beautifully towards Marcelino Nunez. It's cleared. Jack Taylor can pick it up in the midfield. The space on the Ipswich left for Leif Davis. That is the pass that he plays. He takes a step back and controls the ball with his chest. Works it down for the blonde-haired Jack Clark. Now another opportunity for Davis to try and get a cross in. Check back actually onto his right foot. Laid it back for Taylor. Clark takes over. Clark can't get himself into a shooting position, but lays it back for Matusiwa. Matusiwa, Young now making a good run down the right-hand side of the penalty area. He's got Goodrum snapping away at his heels. Very nearly won the corner there, Young, but Curry got it away from him just before it went over the dead ball line. Ipswich win it back. Another ball hoisted high. Looking for Eggerly. Too high for him. Not deep enough in the penalty area for Akpom. Oxford trying to get away with Vokes, who just realised in the nick of time that Akpom was coming in behind him. Now Plaheta, at the moment the match winner, lays it back for Vokes. Vokes taking a touch, going back to his goalkeeper. Cumming, whose save from Hurst looks even more significant now. And he's driven the ball forward. Young just has lost out. Goodrum in past him. And he's inside the penalty area. Tyler Goodrum, the angle's tight. And Walton comes out and saves with his left foot at the near post to keep the lead at only 1 for Oxford.
Yeah, rampant now, aren't they? Oxford, Goodrum and Plaheta have really been bright sparks since coming on down the sides. And Ipswich look a little bit beaten, don't they, at the moment, mentally? I'm looking at the body language and thinking, are they going to pick themselves up from this? Is that Plaheta goal a knockout blow?
Well, the goal was scored on 77. So still plenty of time at that stage for Ipswich to get themselves at least back on level terms. Got a corner to defend here, which they've been able to do easily enough. It's out towards Goodrum. Goodrum, his first touch was poor, his second was inspired. Then clipped in with the outside of the boot from Puerta and volleyed away. Another effort comes in from a tightish angle and wide of the near post. It's a goal kick that Walton will want to take quickly, but he sees that the changes are going to be made, so he just slows things down. McAteer coming on for Eggerly, and Azon. Is it going to be for Matusua? Looks like it.
Yeah, all-out attack now from Ipswich Town. Yeah, I'm surprised Eggerly maybe didn't make way in the earlier ream of changes. He's been really quiet tonight, hasn't impacted the game enough. But yeah, look, they've sort of emptied the midfield. I think Jack Taylor's going to go as the deepest player with Núñez just in front of him. And pretty much 5 up top now for Ipswich.
Yeah, it is almost 4-1-5, isn't it? 4-1-2-3, but I mean the 2 and the 3 are ultra attacking because they've got Akpom and Núñez, there's a 2. And then they've got Clark on one side, McAteer on the other, and Azon playing through the middle.
Yeah, and Leif Davis is pretty much left wing as well. So look, everybody forward really for Ipswich here.
5.5 plus stoppage time. Oxford 2, Ipswich 1. Here on Talksport 2. Kirschmacher getting it away for Oxford, who will fancy their chances of maybe scoring another on the counter as Ipswich commits so many bodies forward. Puerta making an early darting run towards the edge of the penalty area, but O'Shea had his eye on him anyway, and Oxford are forced to work it back inside their own half. They go deeper still, finding their goalkeeper. Cummings' clearance, helped on by Long, and it will just drift towards the touchline where Leif Davis will stop it going out of play for a throw. Pokes it back in the field for Marcelino Núñez. Núñez for Dara O'Shea. O'Shea worked forward to his left-hand side. Kipre to Clark. Clark, difficult man to shrug out of possession. He was given a little shove, but he found Taylor. Taylor to Ashley Young. Young getting it forward here. Akpom, who scored his first Ipswich goal the other night. Clever backheel flick. Oh, it's driven through the 6-yard box. And Clark couldn't get a touch. And the point that he is making there to McAteer was that he should have gone low along the deck for a tap-in. And instead he's just tried to find his head and missed him.
I make him right. Yeah, it's the wrong choice. He does really well to get there, Casey McAteer. Gets to the byline and then it just roll it across the face of goal. Easy finish at the far stick, and he just blasted it across the face of goal. Got too much on it. Really disappointing.
So Ipswich 27 points from 17 if it stays this way. Coventry 40 from 17 ahead of their game tomorrow. And remember, the pair of them meet next week. A week tomorrow, Saturday, December the 6th. Núñez to Ashley Young. Young taking in touch and bringing it forward towards halfway. Only 3.5 minutes left now for Ipswich to try and salvage something. And when they scored with Leif Davis 8 minutes into the second half, it looked pretty routine that they'd be able to turn a half-time deficit into a win. Now, I'm sure they'd take a point. The ball is worked forward here for Azon. He's offside. And Oxford will be in no hurry whatsoever to take the resulting free kick. They're 3 minutes away from just their 4th league win of the season.
And look, I'm just thinking about this curse. Can we call it a curse? Ipswich never, ever winning away to Oxford in the league. It's a crazy stat, but you sometimes just have a bogey team, don't you? And it appears that Ipswich certainly have one here.
Well, they nearly did. The very first time that they met, it was an extraordinary game. It was 40 years ago this week as free kick goes Ipswich's way just outside their own penalty area. 40 years ago this week, they met in the league for the first time. It was a top division game.
Okay.
They finished Oxford 4, Ipswich 3. John Aldridge got a 9-minute hat-trick. And Oxford came back from 3 down to win 4-3 with fullback Neil Slatter scoring the winner.
Right.
And
you remember it like it was yesterday, right?
I do remember it like the research was yesterday, yeah. But that John Aldridge 9-minute hat-trick at the Manor Ground was clearly must have been a special moment for all the Oxford supporters who were there.
Yep, definitely.
In the first ever season of top-flight football in 85-86. Ipswich coming forward again here. Oh, that time he's put across the deck, and it's a brilliant save from Cumming. It's a remarkable stop. Then the next one comes in and is blocked. And then Clark to Taylor, and Clark's effort, a looping one, is saved from Cumming. But how did he get something in the way of that initial effort from Azon?
Wow, that's astonishing. It's brilliant this time from McAteer. He makes the right choice. He puts it low and hard across the 6-yard box. Azon's there for a tap-in. And the instinctiveness of Jamie Cumming is just unreal. Somehow he flings out an arm and saves it.
Now Lancashire at the other end. Was he given a shove over by Kipre? Referee says no. And there's fury on the Oxford bench. Because if a free kick is given there, it could easily have been a red card. Ipswich bring it forward. Here's Clark, left-hand side of the penalty area. Drives it through the penalty area and misses everybody. And he goes out of play for an Oxford throw.
Yeah, story really of Ipswich's night, isn't it? Great play initially. Jack Clark goes past his man and then just picks the wrong cross. I think, they've had a lot of crosses tonight, Ipswich, but I'd say the majority of them, the crosser has made the wrong choice from it. And that's, behind everyone, and Oxford breathe easy, and the fourth official's down there now with that board. We're sort of 25 seconds away from finding out how much longer Oxford have got.
Well, there was a stoppage time equaliser in Oxford's game on Tuesday. Will there be one tonight? Puaheta, who at the moment is the match winner, and with a touch that just goes through to the Ipswich goalkeeper, Walton. Fourth official stands, board in hand. How many extra minutes is it going to be? 5. So 5 minutes. That's all that's separating Oxford from a win. And one of their most creditable of the season so far. It'll be a very frustrating night for Ipswich if they can't salvage something late on. Here's Curry. Played forward towards halfway. Ipswich can win it back. Ashley Young's got it. 4 from him to Nunez. Driven now down towards the left-hand side of the penalty area for the Ipswich goal scorer, Leif Davis. And the last time that he played here, and the last time that Ipswich played here, it ended 2-1 to Oxford with the Leif Davis goal for Ipswich, and it's exactly the same story 3 seasons on, seemingly tonight. Certainly is at the moment. Kipre. High right-footed cross from him. Out for McAteer. He's beaten to it by Curry. Couldn't keep it in though. Goes out of play for an Ipswich throw. Young retrieving a ball off a white cone, which is stationed just in front of the hoardings, in front of the Ipswich fans in that north stand. Throw taken. Young gets it back. Play back again for Nunez. Much deeper now. Here's Taylor. Azon making a darting run. Akpom. Good strength from him. Here is Chuba Akpom, the on loan from Ajax. Laid to his right-hand side for Jack Clark. Good defending from the front by Romany. Thought he was fouled. Referee didn't. He was well placed, Mr. Donoghue. Play goes on with Young. Right-hand side of the penalty area. Stands it up towards Akpom. More great handling from Cumming, who I'm sure will be named as the man of the match.
Yeah, I think he probably should be. Yeah, he's made some great saves in the second half. He's been very, very busy. And at key moments he's stood big and made the difference, hasn't he? Absolutely superb from him.
Nunez down for Clark. Clark trying to turn inside the challenge on the left flank, goes to ground. Free kick goes Ipswich's way. 3 minutes of stoppage time to go. It's level with the left-hand side of the box and 12 yards outside the penalty area.
Yeah. What's this going to be? A Leif Davis outswinger potentially. Who's coming up for this then? No goalkeeper, I don't think. But almost everyone loaded up inside the danger zone here. The sponsor's man of the match is Puaheta, who has come on and made a difference, but nah, it has to be Cumming.
Well, Puaheta the man with the winning goal, but Cumming has made 3 stunning saves. More work for him to do here. 2.5 to go. In comes Davis's free kick, and Cumming comes out and catches it. And he's getting the count from the referee for the full 8 seconds. And then fires the ball from the edge of his own penalty area upfield. Quaheta trying to bring it down, couldn't do so. Jack Clark's won it back. Quaheta's tried to pull him down. Clark was subsequently got by Will Vokes in behind him. It's another Ipswich free kick. This one near halfway. They've taken it quickly. Minute and 40 left. 2-1 to Oxford. Very much against the run of play, very much against the form book, but they've hung in there, Oxford, and have been excellent the last 20 minutes. And the goalkeeper certainly deserves to be on the winning side. He's got it again now with the ball at his feet, picking it up. And once more, the referee will count to 8. And Cumming releasing the ball in the nick of time.
Yeah, he's made 6 saves in this second half, Jamie Cumming. I'll say 4 of them have been really good. Really difficult saves. And he's been calm, hasn't he, from crosses as well. He's not flapped at anything. But look, it's been a team effort, hasn't it? In terms of the outfield players for Oxford, they've just stuck at it, have worked hard and taken the chances when they've come.
Ball headed on through the midfield for Ipswich. Very much in last chance saloon now. Kipre hanging a high one forward. Akpom mistiming his jumps. Knocked away by the Kirschmacher. Romani chasing after that. Young got there first. Taylor can turn. Looked as though he was caught by Lancashire. Play goes on though with Jack Taylor laying it back for Nunez. Out towards Kipre. 25 seconds of the 5 minutes left. Kipre sending a high ball hung inside the penalty area. Looping header goes wide. Cumming with a little fist pump as he retrieves it in front of the hoardings. And that will just about be that. Oxford are going to win.
Yeah. I don't know how many of the Oxford fans that turned up here tonight. There's about 10,000 Oxford supporters in. I don't know how many of them expected this. They're certainly enjoying it. And they're on their feet. They're clapping their team. They're singing the songs. This is a famous win against a really strong Ipswich team. It's a proper underdog success, this.
Oxford United lift themselves out of the drop zone again with a magnificent win against inform Ipswich, whose unbeaten streak is snapped at 6. And when Leif Davis equalised 8 minutes into the second half, it looked for all the world as though Ipswich were going to be able to record a 4th straight-away win, and it would be business as usual. But Shemi Quaheta had a different idea. Caught on off the bench, he scored a superb winning goal being played in by the Kirschmacher. And Jamie Cunning's goalkeeping at the other end, sensational for Oxford. 3 big saves, one of them extraordinarily brave at some personal cost in Hurst. And Oxford held on to win by 2-1. And just when it looks as though Ipswich are making headway and that they are the best of the rest behind Coventry, they hit another setback. It's happened again tonight.
It has, but let's give Oxford some credit. They had some good performers out there today. It wasn't just the keeper. De Kersmacher, I thought, was terrific. He's beating hard at their midfield. Mark Harris gets his goal after all that time. Quaheta off the bench, really bright. And the 2 centre-halves, they cleared so many balls that came into the danger zone. So, yeah, I think Gary Rowett will be really proud of his team tonight. Ipswich, so much of the ball, so much talent, but it was an off night. And over 46-game season, you do get those. The winners tonight, really, Coventry City maybe, because they'll see Ipswich as the most dangerous team for them in terms of their title charge, and they would have expected Ipswich to win here tonight.
Yep, Coventry back in action tomorrow. They take on Charlton. It kicks off at 3. It is live and exclusive on Talksport 2, and it follows Stoke against Hull. Stoke will be delighted with this result as well because it keeps them in second ahead of that game, which you can also hear live here on Talksport 2 tomorrow. There have been a fair bit of dissent in these parts. Lots of fans not happy without a win in 5, and the draw at Norwich didn't really paper over any cracks the other night, despite the fact it came with a late equaliser, because Norwich have been much the better team. But this is the kind of performance just 72 hours on that will give them that little bit of hope that they can move in the right direction, and ultimately they will survive.
Yeah, look, it's all about survival this season. I think, you spoke about the healthy budget they've got, but when I look at the squad, I think it's a squad that's going to battle for survival. I think Gary Rowett realises that they need to be quite pragmatic in their approach. The way they went about their business tonight is probably the best way for them against the top teams in the Championship. And look, they've just got to grind things out and pick up results like this. And tonight they'll be absolutely thrilled. So well done to everyone involved at Oxford United. An unexpected success.
Well, the plaudits for Gary Rowett and Oxford, a night of real frustration for Kieran McKenna and Ipswich. Coming up next on the Talksport network, again a choice of listening over on Talksport, the Sports Bar Weekender with Majestic and Carlton Cole taking your calls here on Talksport 2's Premier League All Access with Sam Matterface and Alex Crook. From here at the Kassam Stadium, Adrian Clark and myself, Jim Bravo, wishing you the very best of luck for your team over the rest of the sporting weekend. On the night that Oxford maintained that long Ipswich hoodoo in this city, the Tractor Boys have still never won a league game in Oxford. And the Tractor Boys' arrival saw Oxford harvest another 3 points tonight. Good night.